Well, I surprised myself. I didn't think I'd do another experiment, but I did my part during the break, and I hope you did too. We'll see how it goes over the next day or so, the next few days. I expect there will be some giant sighting somewhere, if not in several areas. We're in the middle of a pretty good time for it anyway, but that much intent has got to produce something. We'll see. It may come. We have no way of knowing timelines, whether they really want to do it or not, but we certainly gave them the intent. And for those of you that participated with me, thank you. Don't stop. Keep it up in the next hour or so. Just keep blasting away intent, simply for them to show themselves. And as James mentioned, get in as good a mood as you can. I called up. You know what I called up? It's kind of interesting, actually. One of the joyous moments that I had in my life was the very brief but joyous OBE I had in Paris. And so I kind of called that to mind, remembered as much of it as I could, and sort of combined that with an intent to see something in our skies, for something to appear in our skies. And I hope you will do the very same, and we'll take a look in the next couple of days and see what happens. In a moment, we're going to open the lines for James Gilliland and see what you have to say. I'm Art Bell. Frankly, this was just too good to not do. I've had so many guests who have said that the appearance of these craft appears to be connected with intent. And as you know, intent is something that has fascinated me. Mass consciousness has fascinated me now for years. So we're going to watch the next couple of days very carefully. I'm already getting fast blasts that, well, I don't know what you make out of them. Helen in Kaiser, Oregon said, overcast, but I went outside and yes, a round light was circling around the sky above my house. Happy to be part of it. Barry in Vancouver, intent experiment. 2 craft sighted over Vancouver, BC at 1:05 a.m. Bright white lights moving north to south, 20 degrees above the eastern sky, and many more like that. But I don't know, James. We'll have to see what comes of it. We'll watch the next couple of days very, very carefully and see what happens.
I think you're going to get flooded.
Well, I hope so. I really hope so. I mean, if it is really intent, then we're going to find out. No question about it. Listen, we got a lot of calls for you, so what do you say?
Oh, it sounds great.
Here it comes. Kent in Michigan, you are on with James Gilliland.
Yes, Art. It's a pleasure to talk to you. Hey,
happy to have you.
I found your show by accident about 2 weeks ago, and I haven't missed one since. Anyway, I got a question for James.
Yes.
I was about 8, 9 years old. This would have been back in about 77, but we were out in the backyard playing, and I seen what I believe was a UFO. It was like a blue and a red oval lights that were slowly spinning, and it just kind of hovered there going real slow, and we saw it for about 15 minutes or so, and then it just shot up and disappeared. Have you seen anything like that?
Pretty much on a regular basis here. We see that
really,
quite often.
Really, the same kind?
Yeah, we do. We see a lot of different types. We've seen blue ones, purple ones, pink ones, green ones, giant cylinders. We've seen triangles. We've got 3 or 4 of the massive triangle ships on film. Actually, I know, Art, you had one of those sightings, at least one.
I certainly did.
But we've got some really good footage of these ships, and people are trying to say that they're NOS satellites, that they're 3 satellites tethered together. But what we've seen here, there's no way it could be, because it turned around and went back the other way.
Yeah, they tried to tell me it was swamp gas. But
yeah, that was J. Allen Hynek's favorite.
Yep.
Favorite.
Okay, Kent, thank you very much. Listen, John and Lisa, and they give their last name in Saylorsburg, Pennsylvania, say, my wife and I are regular listeners. We took part in your experiment. We went outside, and we saw 2 lights in the sky, just incredible. These are big white lights. Glad to be a part of this. Now, these are beginning to flood in, and I only get samples, but I wonder what we've done here. Interesting. All right, I believe it's Solomon in Vancouver, BC. Oh, Vancouver, you're on with James.
How are you doing, Art and James? As a matter of fact, I'm standing outside involved in the experiment, and I know that it's valid because 3 weeks ago I had a major vision that people all over the world were looking skywards, and there was all type of apparitions and UFO phenomenon taking place, but it had to do with the second coming of the Sacred Heart of Jesus Christ, and I believe that very, very firmly. Also, Art, I was on with you about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I had made the prediction that your wife was going to have a baby girl. And and listen, and then 2 or 3 weeks later, I heard you on the air talking about the ultrasound, and congratulations on the young lady. A question I wanted to ask James. James.
Yes.
I've had contact since I was 3 years old. I've had contact with at least 24 different type of species.
Mm-hmm.
3 nights ago, here in Vancouver, as I'm standing outside, I was after I finished my meditation, intuitively I was told to come outside, and this beautiful white lotus light appeared over English Bay, heading towards Vancouver. And I was listening to Art when he said just a few minutes ago the individual had fast blasted him from Vancouver. I saw those 2 lights going across the heavens. One question I wanted to ask you. I speak an extraterrestrial language. Do you speak that? And number 2, would you let the audience...
Wait. Solomon?
Yes.
If you speak an extraterrestrial language, say something.
All right, I will. And I want your listeners to concentrate on this because every time I do it, everybody sees something different. But I'll do it now.
Proceed.
Seche kemukopukofo senchintia kapafa. Hasan shititihia bekamakatoshte. Hele kapatomokompapasa charkaredinga hasamochutu for sokapu. Tichia hastan tesitiampo kotobatiktiarias. Have you ever heard that before?
I have not, Solomon, and I am duly impressed. Have you, James, heard anything like that ever before?
You know, actually, I hate to admit it, but I have.
You have?
I try to stay grounded with all this, but I have words like that coming into my head. I have no idea what they mean, but they come with a feeling. And while he was speaking, I was getting some chills down my back.
I have no idea. You know, that was out of the blue. I decided to ask him to say something, and, obviously he was prepared, and it came out sounding not like any language I know, but sounding very specific and, wow.
You know, most people just categorize this, in the nutcase category, but, unless you're sensitive and you have the inner sensitivity to spiritually discern, some of these things, and I'm one of them. People do stuff like this to me all the time. I go, well, that's really nice. Have a great day. But, I definitely felt an energy and a connection with that. And sometimes I hear that, but mostly my communication is thought to thought. And I get the information very clearly. But there is this strange language, very, very similar to what he was
Whatever he did,
about.
It was impressive, James. All right, William in Kansas City, you're on the air with James.
Excellent. Hey, James, how you doing?
Doing great.
Hey, I got a quick sighting for you. I was in the Navy, and I'm a quartermaster. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, huh?
Okay, I was taking readings. It was late one night. We were off the coast of Vieques. Are you familiar with that?
No, I'm not.
It's that little island off of Puerto Rico that the military uses as a targeting range.
There's a lot of sightings there.
Yeah.
Hey, I tell you what, we were about 25 miles just west of Vieques Island, and it was late. It was about 3 in the morning, and I was on watch. And, of course, quartermaster stay on the bridge, and there was a throbbing, it looked like to me, a throbbing blue light underneath the water. It was about a mile away, I guess. And
under the water.
Under the water, and it appeared to pulse in and out. I thought it was a buoy at first, and the closer we got to it, we noticed that it was underwater. And I asked the officer of the deck if there was any kind of submarine contacts, if there was anything under the water there. Nothing was on our chart.